What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I gotta go ahead and say thank God for another day and another opportunity. And as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I put together one of the most rare, best lockdown names in NBA2K24 on next gen for y'all. And this build is going to be coming out to the two-way glue guy. Now this build name, I'm telling y'all, one of the most unique, and I'm going to be calling this build the two-way glue to you, because this build is going to be glued to anybody on the offensive end, because this is one of the best lockdown builds to make this year in all times. Now on top of that, this build is going to be reminding me of NBA star Jimmy Butler. Now as far as for attributes today, we'll get a 99 plus put towards our standing dunk, post control, mid-range shot, perimeter defense, steal, and stamina, and possibly our defensive rebound. Now we do have the potential to get standing contact dunks. We'll get upgraded layup packages as well as the pro dribble animations, and we get a total of 68 out of 77 badges on this build today. Now this build, I mentioned it already, this is one of the most rare lockdown defender build names out there. All around an offensive build, but this defense is very versatile because of how we're able to use and play with this build. Now I think this is the perfect Jimmy Butler build. There's no weakness when it comes to the build because it can do a little bit of everything. And I think what makes it perfect is the perfect 1-2 punch combination of the post scoring with defense. So look, before we get any further, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family. And last but definitely not least, comment down TG for thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from. And I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with a response. So to get started today, the first thing you want to do is put this build under the small forward position. As for that height, let's go with 6'6". Getting into the weight, I'm going to go with 221 pounds. And then for that wingspan, I like this best at 7'3". Now feel free to make any changes or adjustments along the way, but I absolutely believe this is going to be the best way to move forward with this build. So let's get started with our physicals. Moving into that speed, I'm going to put this all the way up to an 81. Getting into the acceleration, let's go with an 80. As for that strength, I'm going to go with a 74, and then moving in to the vertical, I'm going to go ahead and put this all the way up to a 60. Now these numbers are very specific with today's build. I definitely recommend you follow along each and every step. As for the stamina, I'm going to go with a 95, and remember, we get a +4 when it comes to doing our Gatorade facility workouts if you get 4 stars in each area. So we'll get a 99 stamina, 64 vertical, 78 strength, 84 acceleration with an 85 speed. Now I think this is one of the best well-rounded builds overall, especially when you take into account what we're going to be able to do out of it. Now let's get started when it comes to our defensive end. So for that interior, go ahead and put this up to a 73. Moving into our perimeter, I'm going to go with an 88. And then as for that steal, I like this best at an 85. Now moving into the block, this is really optional. I truly do believe 73 is going to be more than enough. You get bronze chase down artist, which I think is a very useful badge. Now as far as for the rebounding, I'm going to go with a 67 on the offensive with a defensive of an 83. Now the badges that I like most on the defensive end, we get silver box out beast, rebound chaser with bronze pogo stick. As for the offensive end, a little bit more of the same. Now look, we did mention these badges already. For that steal, what I think is very special, you get silver glove, interceptor, and right stick ripper. For that perimeter end, you get silver clamps, ankle braces, fast feet with pick dodger, but then you get 94 feet, very overpowered badge, also challenger, workhorse, and off-ball pass. As for that interior, you're going to get gold workhorse as well. So for the defensive end, you can already see just how well balanced and pretty overpowered we are. So let's get started when it comes to the next area of this build. I'm going to go ahead and get into the finishing. So as for that close shot, I'm going to go with a 59. Moving into the driving layup, I'm going to go with a 70. And then as for the driving dunk, this may be very surprising, but you're going to see exactly why in a moment. Go with a 50 here for a standing dunk of a 90. Now you do need to make a few minor adjustments in order to maintain this build name, and one of those is maintaining a lower driving dunk, but out of it you will get a higher standing dunk. As far as for the post control, put this all the way up to an 89, and I think this makes the build very special as well. You get a little bit more of extra badges when it comes to the finishing, especially added towards the playmaking. You get silver unpluckable, bronze back down punisher, dream shake with gold drop stepper. Then you get post spin technician, precision dunker, bronze aerial wizard with rise up, and silver fast twitch. For that driving dunk, a little bit of these badges are going to be coming from the layup, and the ones that I like are bronze fearless finisher. Also get slithery, acrobat, aerial wizard with bunny, then you get silver float game, gold pro touch, as well as scooper. Now I want to know, what do you think about this build so far? Considering you do get a very rare build name, I think this is one of the best setups that you can use moving forward. So as you can see, to get started with the shooting, we're going to be pretty overpowered out of this area as well. Let's go with an 85 for that mid-range. Getting into the three-pointer, I'm going to go with an 80. And then for that free throw, put this all the way up to a 69, and this will allow you to be effective and just enough to hit free throws consistently in any 5v5 setting. Now look, the badges we get here, silver blinders, deadeye, you also get green machine and space crater. Then you get silver whistle with open looks. I like gold post fade phenom, dream shake. You also get badges like mini magician, guard up, comeback kid with spot finder, and catch and shoot. As for the three-pointer, the badges that I like most are going to be Bronze Agent 3. You also get catch and shoot here as well. All of these badges, honestly, I think are more than enough to be effective, especially if you take into account activating your takeover, wearing gear that give you another boost, as well as buying boost. That's at least a plus 10. Now if you play well throughout each game, 2K does give you a minor boost. Now getting into the playmaking to wrap everything up, go ahead and put that pass accuracy all the way up to an 80. For that ball handle, I'm going to go with an 81. And for the speed with ball, I'm going to go with a 75. Now this is what we're going to be looking like overall for this build. Now as you can see, we get badges like Silver Dimer, Relay Passer, Special Delivery, Break Starter, and Post Playmaker. Now you also get badges like Touch Passer, Needle Threader, and then moving into the ball handle, I like Bronze Blow-By, Killer Combos. You also get handles for days. Moving into the silver badges, I think these are very overpowered. Speed Booster Unpluckable, Ankle Breaker with Triple Strike, and gold physical handles. Now as far as for the speed with ball, a little bit more of the same, but I think overall this is one of the best lockdown builds with a rare name to it. What do you think of this build personally? Is there anything that you would do to make it a little bit better? But let's go ahead and move forward to make sure that everybody made this build correctly. Now we should be able to get these 3 different comparisons. Of course, Jimmy Butler is on that list, and as y'all can see, together we have created the two-way glue guy. Thank you so much, every single one of you. God bless y'all. And look, if you add everything up of what I previously did mention, you'll see the true and full potential of what we get out of today's build. Now before we get out of here, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with a response. And with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.